Hello everybody, my name is Jace Andre. Today I'll be giving you an exclusive inside look and beat breakdown on my track Chipotle Bopalicious, streaming all platforms. And first of all, I would like to apologize for this egregious lighting. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Firstly, we got these chords, Nighttime's EP. Pretty simple, just 2 clicks. And I do a little something extra right here. And I throw in the So I usually always start the track off with the piano keyboard because that's my main instrument. So that's just what I'm always on. I'm generating ideas basically off of that. And then the next thing is I just try to find any sound that just meshes, that goes well with the first sound. So I think I accomplished that pretty well for this one. Yeah, I did. Yeah, and then the next thing I got is this sound right here. So this was a journey. This was a long journey. As you can see, this was a process. This is what it originally started off with. There was no delay. It's kind of sounding more upbeat, like I'm about to put something like that maybe. But yeah, this whole thing I think took some time. But that's kind of what happens though. Like you have an idea and you like the general basis of the idea, maybe like the sound or whatever. And just like not giving up on that idea can pay off, as you see here. Next sound is the money pad. It's basically just a synth string. Inspiration behind this was that the string, whatever, is typically in the 70s jazz soul tracks, they have that one string that kind of plays in certain parts. And I took inspiration from that because I really liked how that sounds. And then besides the bass, for the last melodic thing, I got this little digi ice pad. Thought process behind this was I felt like there needed to be some other melodic thing to kind of fill in the space, make everything more cohesive, because without it, it just feels like it's missing a piece. And then you throw in it just kind of brings everything together. Oh, I also see this as a counter melody to whatever this sound is. I forgot to label it. Well, I don't know, counter melody. Whatever. I feel like these two contrast well with the string too. Yeah. It all works great together, because then when you throw in the flute pad at the end, yeah, I think it all just is great. And then next is the bass. So the bass is actually pretty popping on this track. I'm gonna actually skip it, say the best for last, you know what I mean? Next up, we got these drums. So typically in my process, I start off with like kind of the basis of the idea, and then it usually comes next is bass or drums. Depends on what I'm feeling first, depends on what kind of idea I have or whatever. In this case, it came out to be the bass. And for drums, drums is almost like a tricky thing, but not tricky, because I rarely ever have an idea for drums that I want to just lay out. So usually what I do is I find a kit, I just kind of mess around until it's something I like. So here I start off with something simple, just and then you get more into it. I build it with a shaker. Add more groove. This is a groove right here. And then throw in the crash with the snare. I don't know what it's called. I got the little snare tom combo going on right now, which I think is a pretty dynamic part in the track, which kind of gives it bounce. I think the highs, and when it goes highs and low for the drums, for the tom, 808 tom specifically, it adds more dynamics within the track. You can hear it goes down here, and it goes. I think that just is good. The bass. The bass. The bass is. Yeah, man, I cooked with that one. So the bass sound came from George Duke, actually. One of his songs called Cravo y Canela, he has a similar bass pattern to this, and I kind of, implemented that idea in my own way. I know with this bass, I know I had the first half down immediately, but then the second half kind of took some cultivating and composing, you know what I mean, to bring together. So as you can see, after this part, it starts going off the rails. I don't know what I'm doing. That's pretty much the whole first part of the track. So yeah, basically I finished this loop right here, and then I don't know what to do afterwards. I'm kind of like stuck or whatever. So I take some time away. I step away from it for like 4 days to a week, and then I'm in the car. I'm listening to some tunes, some jams, and then Pink Pantherist comes on, specifically "Pain" by Pink Pantherist, and then the song at the end, when it goes from the normal pitch and then she pitches it down. When it got to that part in the car, I was like, whoa. I was like, wow, that's a great idea. So I did it. A good friend of mine actually told me that sometimes it was a good idea to step away from tracks and let it breathe. You may not have it right then, and you don't want to like force anything, because I feel like when you try to force too much, it takes away from the original intent that was behind the track, if you know what I'm trying to say. So basically, that's what I do. I add the flow part down here. Oh, actually, let's talk about the intro. So for the intro, instead of just having it like just straight up go into it, I add the intro from before and pitch it down to give it more like a lead on. So it's not just abruptly switching up, and there's more flow and continuity within the tracks. Yeah, I just think that flows a lot better. I think when this part comes on, it's like there's something about like going from like regular octave or volume to like pitch down like 4 semitones. Something about it. It's just like when I hear something like that, I feel it deep within. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's to me what creates the feeling of like when people really start to get going. That's kind of how I felt when I added this kick here later. And then I faded out because I feel like that's what needed to happen. Not because I was lazy, but because I feel like this track was meant to be this way. Yeah, and that's the track. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you want some more breakdowns in the future, or maybe some other songs I got. And if you got this far, comment your Cash App or Venmo. I will pay you handsomely for watching to the end, because I got to support my supporters. If my supporters aren't being supported, then how can they support me? You know what I'm saying? Thank you for watching. Please listen to my song. I'm not begging you, but I'm begging you. Thank you.